Hello everyone and welcome to Kiki Crochet. In this video we're going to learn how to make a crochet hat with a ruffled effect. This hat is for a 1-year-old girl and this head circumference for this age is about 48 centimeters. So we want to make the hat about 4 centimeters smaller than the head circumference and about 17 centimeters total height. The yarn that I'm going to be using is called 50-50 and it's 50% acrylic and 50% wool. As it's mentioned in the back, we're supposed to use 3.5 or a 4mm crochet hook. I'm going to be using a 4mm crochet hook to make my hat. So we want to begin with our chains, and we want the total length of the chain to be about the same as the total height of our hat. In this case, the total height is supposed to be about 17 centimeters, but I made mine about 1.5 centimeters smaller because I'm gonna make a couple rows of single crochet at the end of the hat. So I have started with a total of 27 chains, and I'm going to be working double crochet. So 27 chains will give me a total of 25 double crochet at the end. So let's start, and we're going to count 1, 2, 3, 4 chains. I'm going to put my hook in the 4th chain. I'm going to make a double crochet. So the chain 3 in the beginning plus the double crochet that I just did give us the 2 first stitches. And we're going to keep going. Next stitch, 3, next stitch, 4, next stitch, 5, next stitch, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, and my last stitch, 25. So out of the total of 27 chains, we have a total of 25 double. So I'm going to chain 1 and turn my work. And I'm going to make a double crochet in the first stitch, next stitch, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and I'm going to keep going up until I finish this row with a total of 25 double crochet again. So I finished my second row with 1 stitch in every stitch, a total of 25 double crochet, and I have already done my chain 1. And you have to be aware the last stitch is the chain 3 that we did in order to go to the first row when we double crochet in the 4th stitch. So what we're going to do now is we're going to make the squares in order for at the end we're going to make the ruffled effect. So I'm going to make a double crochet in the first stitch, then I'm going to chain 2. This chain 2 stands for 2 stitches from the previous row, so I'm going to make a double crochet in the third stitch. This way, when we're going to crochet in the next row, 1 stitch in every stitch, we're going to have the same total of stitches as we have in the previous rows. So chain 2, skip the next 2 stitches, 1, 2, and put your hook in the third stitch and make a double crochet. One, 2, skip 1, 2 stitches, put your hook in the third stitch and make a double crochet. This is how our work looks so far. So chain 2, skip 1, 2 stitches, put your hook in the third and make a double crochet. Chain 2, skip 1, 2 stitches, put your hook in the third and make a double crochet. Chain 1, 2, skip 2 stitches, put your hook in the third and make a double crochet. Chain 2, skip the next 2 stitches, put your hook in the third and make a double crochet. Chain 2, skip the next 2 stitches and make a double crochet on your last stitch. So in order for this to come out right, you're supposed to have like a multiple of 3 plus 1 stitches. So if you're just left with 1 stitch at the end, don't worry about it because it's not going to be visible once you do your ruffled effect at the end. So in the next row, we're going to chain 1. I'm going to turn my work and I'm going to do a double crochet on top of that double crochet, and this is going to be a row with only double crochet. We're not going to chain any stitches in the middle. So on every chain 2 space we're going to make 2 double crochet in order to substitute for the 2 stitches that we skipped in the previous row. So at the end of this row we're going to have a total of 25 double crochet again. So that was my third stitch. Make a double crochet on top of the double crochet, 4, make 2 double crochet in the chain 2 space, 5, 6, 'Make a double crochet on top of the double crochet, 7, 8, 9 in the chain 2 space, 10 on top of the double crochet, 11, 12 in the chain 2 space, 13 on top of the double crochet, 14, 15 in the chain 2 space, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, and my last stitch, 25. So this is the 25th stitch. Chain 1, turn my work, and this is how our work looks like. So on top of every double crochet we made a double crochet, and on every chain 2 space we made 2 double crochet. So this is going to be a row with the squares again. So I'm going to make a double crochet in the first stitch, chain 2, skip 2 stitches, make a double crochet in the third stitch, chain 2, skip 2 stitches, put your hook in the third, and make a double crochet, chain 2, skip 2 stitches, put your hook in the third, and make a double crochet, chain 2, skip 2 stitches, put your hook in the third, and make a double crochet, chain 2, skip the next 2 stitches, put your hook in the third, and make a double crochet, chain 2, skip the next 2 stitches, put your hook in the third, and make a double crochet. So see how from the previous row with the squares the double crochet are lined up? That's how your work is supposed to look like. So chain 2, skip the next 2 stitches and make a double crochet in the next stitch, chain 2, skip the next 2 stitches and make a double crochet on your last stitch, chain 1, and this is how your work is going to look like. On those 2 rows with the squares we're going to work the ruffled effect, and from now on up until you finish your rectangle, because this head is worked as a rectangle. At the end, the total length of your rectangle is supposed to be 4 centimeters shorter than the head circumference. So we're going to work one more row together, so you can see how this row is going to be worked again. So we're going to be making 1 double crochet on top of every double crochet, and on every chain 2 space we're going to be making 2 double crochet. So this way you don't have any increases or decreases, because those chain 2 that you're making and you're skipping the 2 stitches on the previous row, that's those 2 chains substitute those 2 stitches that you skip on from the previous row. So this way you don't have any increases. So what we're going to do is we're going to work together this row again. So I'm going to make a double crochet on the first double crochet. On every chain 2 space we're going to be working 2 double crochet. Two, 3 on top of the double crochet, 4 in the chain 2 space, 5, 6 on top of the double crochet, 7 in the chain 2 space, 8, 9 on top of the double crochet, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24 and your last stitch, 25, chain 1, turn the work, chain 1 and turn the work. And from now on, up until you finish your rectangle, up until you finish crocheting, you're gonna making one stitch in every stitch. You're not gonna make any more squares. You're just gonna be working double crochet up until you finish. So you want it to be 4 centimeters smaller than the total head circumference. So at this point I've finished crocheting my rectangle. It's a total of 44 centimeters because the head circumference for a 1-year-old is 48. So it's a total of 44 centimeters and about 15 and a half is the total length. So what we're going to do now, I have already made my chain 1 and I'm going to cut my yarn. And you want to cut it a little long, so because we're going to sew in the 2 sides to close up our hat. So pull your yarn and tighten it up. So now we're going to sew in the 2 ends and we're going to make an invisible it's going to be like an invisible way to connect the 2 sides. An invisible join. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna take a blank piece of paper in order for you to be able to see what I'm doing better. And I'm gonna put the 2 ends together and I'm gonna take my needle and I'm gonna put the needle in the first stitch from the inside out on the one side and on the first stitch from the inside out on the opposite side. Then on the second stitch from the inside out in the one side, in the second stitch from the inside out on the opposite side. So let's see how we're going to do that. I'm going to take my needle and put it in the stitch, in the first stitch from the inside out and pull your yarn, and in the first stitch on the opposite side from the inside out. You're always going to be working your needle from the inside out. Now you're going to go on the other side again and you're going to put your needle in the second stitch from the inside out and on the opposite side the second stitch again from the inside out. And grab the end over there and pull your yarn so you bring both sides together. Then on the third stitch on the other side from the inside out, then go again to the other side in the third stitch from the inside out. In the fourth stitch in the left side from the inside out, and in the fourth stitch in the right side from the inside out. Grab the end and pull the yarn so the stitches come together, and that makes your the join, it makes it invisible. Then we go to the fifth stitch from the inside out in the left side and then go to the 5th stitch in the right side from the inside out your needle again, and to the 6th stitch from the inside out in the left side, in the 6th stitch in the right side from the inside out again, and grab the end and pull your yarn so the stitches come together. So from now up until the end, we're gonna work the stitches off camera. You want to have a total of 50 stitches, 25 from the one side, 25 from the other side. When I finish sewing my hat, I'm going to turn my video back on again. So at this point, I have sewed in all my hat together with a total of 25 stitches in the one side and 25 stitches in the other side. And see how this join seems invisible? So what we want to do is we're gonna sew in and make a knot, and I'm gonna cut my yarn, and I'm just gonna leave a little bit so I can secure the yarn in the end. So this is how our hat looks like so far. This you could make this to be a headband instead of a hat. You can work this you can work it as in any way that you'd like. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna make the ruffled effect on our hat with a different color. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take our crochet hook and we're gonna put it on the right side on this double crochet over here, the first double crochet, and we're gonna work 5 double crochet on there. Then we're going to be working 5 double crochet on those 2 stitches, 3 double crochet in the one stitch and 2 double crochet in the other stitch. Then in order to work to go down, we're going to be working 5 double crochet on that double crochet, and then we're going to be working 5 double crochet to the right over here, and then we're going to be working 5 double crochet to go up, and then 5 double crochet to move to the left. So that's how we're going to be working our ruffled effect, and that's how it's supposed to go. Up and then top right, bottom and bottom left. Bottom left and then top left. So I'm going to put my crochet hook under that double crochet, and I'm going to attach my yarn. So just put your hook under that double crochet and attach the yarn, and we're going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. Those 3 chains is our first double crochet, so we want to make 4 more in this space. So 2, 3, 4, 5 double crochet. So we just finished this side. Now we're going to turn our hat, and what we're going to do now is we're going to work 3 double crochet in those 2 loops between that double crochet over there, in this first double crochet over here, and then 2 more double crochet in between the 2 loops of the next double crochet. So between those 2 loops of that double crochet and between those 2 loops on the second double crochet. So these are the 2 double crochet that I have made in the chain 2 space. So in each one of those double crochet, I'm going to make 3 on the first and 2 double crochet in the second one. So I'm going to put my crochet hook in between those 2 loops, so this is a stitch that is worked only on the chain 2 space if you're working only squares, but you can adjust the ruffled effect on any stitch like we're doing right now. So I'm making 1, 2, 3 double crochet between those loops of that double crochet over there, and then I'm going to put my hook between the two loops of the next double crochet, and I'm going to make 2 double crochet. 1, 2. So those are the 2 double crochet that I had made in the chain 2 space. So now we want to take our ruffled effect, and we want it to move upwards. So that's in between the 2 loops that I just did the double crochet. So now we want to make the 5 double crochet, and we want to move upwards. So I'm going to turn my hat, and I'm going to put my hook under that double crochet over here, and I'm going to make 5 double crochet on that double crochet. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I finished this side, and now we want to move to the top left. We want to move our 5 double crochet to the top left. So this is how the ruffle looks like so far. And in order now to move to the top left, what we want to do is I'm going to put my hook from the bottom to the top on those 2 double crochet right over here. This is the 1 stitch, and I'm going to put my hook right in there, but from the opposite side. So this is the right side of those 2 double crochet, but we're working them upside down. So from the bottom up in that stitch, I'm going to put my crochet hook, and right in the next stitch from the bottom up, I'm going to put my crochet hook, and I'm going to do the 2 more double crochet. So this is the 2 double crochet that are worked in the chain 2 space on the other side. So from the bottom up on that first double crochet, we're going to do 1, 2, 3 double crochet, and on the stitch right next to it, we're going to make 1, 2 double crochet. So we have the total 5 double crochet for this side too. So we move to the top left, and what we want to do now is we want to bring down the ruffle. So on top of that double crochet, we're going to make 5 double crochet. So we're going to turn our work and push your hook under that double crochet and make 5 double crochet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we brought the ruffle down, and what we want to do now is we want to work the bottom left. So right in between those 2 loops of those 2 double crochet, we're going to work the next 5 double crochet, and that's the 2 double crochet that is being worked in the chain 2 space. So right in between of those 2 loops of each double crochet, I'm going to work 3 double crochet in the first one. So 1, 2, 3, and 2 double crochet in between those 2 loops from the next double crochet. 4, 5. So we brought the ruffle to the bottom left, and now we want to move our ruffle upwards. So we're going to make 5 double crochet on that double crochet over here. So we're going to turn our work, and I'm going to put my crochet hook under that double crochet, and I'm gonna work 5 double crochet on it. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So I brought my ruffle up, and what we want to do now is we want to work on the top left. So as we did before, I'm going to put my hook on those next 2 double crochet, and I'm going to put my hook from the bottom up. So those are the 2 stitches, but I'm going to be working from the bottom up on each stitch, and from the bottom up on the next stitch. So I'm going to take my hook and put in the first stitch and make my 3 double crochet. 1, 2, 3, and the next 2 in the next double crochet. 4 and 5. So we brought our ruffle on the top left, so now we want to move downwards. So we're going to make 5 double crochet on that double crochet over here. So we turned our work, and I'm going to put my hook under that double crochet and make 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 double crochet. So we move downwards. So now we want to work our bottom left 5 double crochet. So right in between those 2 loops of those 2 double crochet that are in the chain 2 space, I'm going to make 3 double crochet on the first one and 2 double crochet on the second one. So I'm going to put my hook in between the 2 loops of the first one and make 1, 2, 3, and between the 2 loops of the next one, 4 and 5. So we worked our bottom left. So now we want to move upwards. So I want to make 5 double crochet on this double crochet over here. So we're going to turn our work, and I'm going to put my hook under the double crochet, and I'm going to do 5 double crochet on it. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So we just moved upwards. So now we want to do the top left. So I made a mistake, and I'm just going to redo the double crochet. 2, 3, 4, and 5. So we moved upwards and we did our 5 double crochet. So what I want to do now is move to the top left. So by putting my hook from the bottom up of those next 2 stitches, I'm going to work 3 double crochet on the first one and 2 double crochet on the second one. So we're going to put our hook in the first one and make 1, 2, 3, and to the next stitch, 4 and 5. So we just did our top left, and now we're going to turn our work, and I'm going to do 5 double crochet on this double crochet over here because we want to move downwards. So we're going to put our hook under that double crochet and make 5 double crochet. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So we moved downwards, and now we want to move to the bottom left. So I'm going to do 5 double crochet in between the 2 loops of those 2 double crochet that are in the chain 2 space. So this is the first 2 loops and the next 2 loops. So right in between the first 2 loops, I'm going to do my first 3, 1, 2, and 3, and in between the next 2 loops, 1 and 2. So we have our total of 5 double crochet. So we just did our bottom left, and now we want to move upwards. So we're going to do 5 double crochet on this double crochet. So we're going to turn our work, and I'm going to do 5 double crochet on this double crochet over here. One, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So we just moved upwards. So now we want to do the top left. So by putting my hook from the bottom up on those next 2 stitches, I'm going to do 3 double crochet in the first stitch and 2 double crochet in the second stitch. And this is the right side of those double crochet, but we're working on them upside down. So from the bottom up on the first stitch and the bottom up on the next stitch. So by putting my hook in the first stitch, I'm going to do my 3 double crochet, 1, 2, 3, and 2 more double crochet in the next stitch, 4 and 5. So we just moved on the top left, and now we want to move downwards, and we're going to make our last 5 double crochet on this double crochet over here. So I'm going to turn my work, and I'm going to put my hook under that double crochet and make 5 double crochet in it. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. I'm going to chain 1, so chain 1, and I'm going to cut my yarn, and I'm going to pull a loop. Double crochet.